I want to start the second hour with a little bit of a
peekaboo
on our local teams.
Yes,
now
they
we'll
both start.
Get into this as the week goes on and we get closer and closer to kick. But I was thinking last night and looking up some Oregon State stuff. Now, I understand that the season being here in general, everybody's amped.
Yes.
But Oregon State fans are more excited for their game this weekend than Duck fans, right?
Oh, I mean, it's a more interesting game. I think you can make that argument.
Because Duck fans are like, I want to see Dante Morse throw 3 touchdowns and have a 70 completion percentage.
Yeah.
I want to see fill in the blank, Decorian Moore look the paw. You want to see stuff.
Yeah.
They're going to win that game by 20, unless the Idaho game is still in the back of your mind.
We all did say that last year.
That's okay. I'll say it again. I will die on the hill.
All right.
I'm willing to do that.
I mean, they ended up having a fine season. It didn't derail anything like we thought at the time, but we did all say that this week going in, they're going to win by 80.
What was the final of the Idaho game?
24-14, I think.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I think that was the final.
All right.
They scored a late touchdown. It was like 17-14.
17-14 for a long time.
And then they scored, I want to say, a touchdown with like 2 minutes to go to make it 24-14.
So you're going to play not you, but like you're kind of playing the one-off. Idaho was close, and we said this last year.
Oh, I'm not necessarily playing that. I just chuckle that we do this a lot in college football of like, oh, that game won't be a game, and then it ends up being like we do that every year.
I know, but
you never know when the landmines are going to come out. I don't think it'll be this weekend though. No,
I don't either. I cited Bartu last week. He was on the station, and he basically was like, if a good team barely wins, like point differential matters, and it largely has in the grand scheme.
Yeah,
Oregon was the outlier last year in what they did
were.
against Idaho. Most of the time when Florida States of the world do that, they end up not being very good.
Derails the entire season.
Oregon got better as their season went on. I think part of that is the transfer process, right? You get a new quarterback. He's in a new system. There's chemistry. The O-line was building up, but I don't think that's going to happen, and so I think Oregon is going to comfortably win this game, whereas Oregon State, this opponent can beat them. I don't know if it should. They're at home. It's a late kick game. But I think because of opponent and question marks that we have for one team versus the other talent-wise should destroy their opponent.
Yeah.
That's why I asked that question.
Yeah, I don't know if excited is the right word, although I see where you're coming from. There's definitely more on the line for Oregon State this weekend than there is for Oregon.
That's a good way of putting it.
I also tend to agree that I think Oregon will do to Montana State what Oregon has done to teams like that 99% of the time in their existence, and that is win the game going away. There are a million things that I could tell you that I'm excited to watch and see and look how it shakes out.
Sure.
But I'm also a nerd and a psycho, and I know that I have an issue. In terms of like games that will dictate the course of your season, Oregon State, by no means, if they lose this game, doesn't mean they can't have a good year. Maybe Cal ends up being better than we all imagine. That's the tough part this time of year is I don't know how good Cal's going to be. At the same token, I don't know how good Oregon State's going to be. There's a lot of new faces, a lot of new pieces, a lot of transfers. Like, how is it all going to come together? Cal lost key guys. Can they replace them? They're starting a true freshman quarterback on the road.
Yeah.
Does he play like a true freshman typically does? Does he exceed expectations? I have no clue what to expect from Cal. But I think in terms of just the ramifications of a win or a loss, I think you look at Oregon State's schedule, and there are a handful of games on there that you think, like, yeah, you're not going to lose. Like, you're not losing to Lafayette at home. You're not losing to Sam Houston at home. You're probably not going to lose on the road to Tulsa, although we'll see.
I think at worst you're splitting with the Cougs,
right? And at worst you're splitting with the Cougs. So there's like 4 wins, and if you can get both against the Cougs, there's 5. But there's about 4 easy wins on your schedule. The start of the season for them are the ones that you circle.
It's the most pivotal.
Fresno State, I was curious to watch this past weekend in week 0 against Kansas because that's who Oregon State plays in 2 weeks.
I feel good about that game right now.
Feel pretty good about that game at home,
I also
right?
haven't seen the Beavs play.
And we also don't know how good Kansas is. Is Kansas really good? Is Kansas bad? Is Fresno State get better? I don't know. But you feel a little bit better about that game. I think now, based on what you saw there, you feel like, man, if we could beat Cal in the opening week, one, it's a win over a team who shouldn't have a Power 5 invite over you because Cal football's largely been irrelevant for the last 10, 15 years. If you win that game, you got a chance to beat Fresno State, and then you go into that Texas Tech-Oregon stretch saying, even if we lose both of those, we got a chance to win 8 games this year, which would be a great year under Braid. So far more on the line for Oregon State on Saturday night than there is for Oregon Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, I think the tough thing is, like, in this transfer world, it's not a 4 or 5 year sample size anymore. Like, to me, there's no excuses for coaches. Some coaches are dealt difficult hands and situations are not all the same. But, like, when you have a $1.5 million quarterback starting who had success last year.
It's a lot of money, man.
Like, I'm rooting for Trent Bray, dude. Like, there's not a better story, I think, for Oregon State than having their former linebacker who also was like a ball boy because his dad was a DC at one point of the heyday.
True to the program his entire life.
Yeah, dude. Like, didn't leave with Jonathan. Like, he may not be a great quote. He may not be a fun interview, in my opinion, as a guy who does interviews. But I want him to succeed.
It doesn't have anything to do with his coaching. You know who was a fun interview? Gary Anderson.
Go Beavers.
Gary Anderson was a lot of fun to talk to.
So, like, I think there's so much writing on this and the start. And they may not be Tech or Oregon. I'm not putting that in any basket. This would be great. They embarrassed. I remember I was at a buddy's house watching this game last year when they went to Berkeley, and that game was
ugly.
It was what? Was it 44-0 at one point?
I think so. I think you lose sight of it because of the Nevada game and then the Air Force game, which was horrible. But
wasn't Air Force after the Cal game?
I think so.
It was just like a run of just absolute dog crap football.
It hit the side of a mountain, and it got really ugly there for a while before you randomly perked up and beat Washington State late in the season.
And I looked at the schedule. And I want to get to the schedule itself. But
Cal was before you Air Force, by the way.
Yeah.
44-7, they lost to Cal, and then 2 weeks later they went to Air Force and lost 28-0.
And they couldn't move the football. This is kind of a standalone 7:30 game. It's an ACC opponent, former conference opponent. Like, I'm delighted. My wife gets to go to San Diego this weekend. And it's probably the only time in my life I haven't been jealous of somebody going to San Diego because I'm like, wait a minute.
And you get ESPN.
I'm at home.
Yeah, it's an ESPN game.
College football kickoff weekend.
Yeah.
Now, the kiddos will be with me.
Sure.
We'll manage the schedule.
But you can quad box that thing late. There's a couple of games on. I'm curious to see what the Huskies look like. I'll have that one on. That's an 8 p.m.
during
game.
the day? Do they or 7:30? Nah, they're
no,
old.
dude. It's a busy slate.
Yeah.
Trust me,
we'll be all right.
Dad's got plans.
We'll be okay.
Dad's got plans.
Don't you worry about that.
It's art day.
Yeah,
you guys in the garage
sit
doing
in your room and finish your art project.
We got some beads. We got some popsicle
Dad's
sticks.
watching
we got
football.
glue. We got glitter. Let's go.
There's got to be a negotiation process when a father is on single dad duty for a weekend, and it's like, what do you want for dinner?
Exactly.
Because this is what I want for my day.
Yeah.
You want ice cream and pizza?
You got it.
It's all fried chicken.
Leave me alone now for 3 hours.
I get the TV.
A
You get the
mountain of
food.
macaroni and cheese.
You can have an iPad, watch whatever you
got
want
it.
on there, do what you want. I taught Teddy Ballgame how to touchdown this weekend.
What do you mean, how to touchdown?
Like he now knows how to say touchdown. He puts his hands up and he goes, touchdown!
Oh, really?
Dude, delightful. First thing out of the gate.
Now-
That first Oregon touchdown, when he does that, it's going to hit like
I
crack.
want to see the clip, the short video clip.
Touchdown!
Touchdown.
He's down, dude. He's into it, man.
Frank and beans. So, I think you're right. More on the line for Oregon State this weekend, whereas Duck Fan has
Like, we're excited to obviously watch our
positional
team
questions and
what's
like,
the depth chart look like? Who's the starting quarterback?
That's not quite. Is it a question? That's not
I don't know. They haven't announced anything yet. It's the week of the game.
Didn't Stein say they were gonna announce this week?
I thought so.
I would imagine
They have
tonight,
a press conference tonight. Did we find
so
out?
the Dan
I think
Lanning
it's done.
weekly
Do they
press
release a depth
conference
chart
is
and say,
tonight.
or I just, I still think it's Dante Moore.
What
but
would you put your money on? You
does
put
the
it on
team know?
Dante.
Does the team know?
Yeah, the team knows.
Does the team know? How is it not leaked then? How is somebody on the team not leaked that? There's got to be one leaker in that locker room.
Don't talk to the media, right?
No.
Like somebody's got to leak that information, right?
Dude, do players leak stuff anymore?
I don't know. I don't know.
There's a bro on that campus that knows a player really well, and he's like, "Oh yeah,
Come on, dude.
Dante's slanging the
Dante.
rock with the ones," and he's like,
good guy.
I know who's starting. There's somebody on that campus that's doing that in the class. I know who's starting this week. It's Dante. It's Dante.
I would not gamble on it being Austin Novosad, but there is the possibility existing until I find out who the starting quarterback is going to be, and they have, for whatever reason, not announced it. I think they're the only. Them and like Kentucky, I don't think has announced their starter.
But of like the top 25 teams, I think they're the only one.
Missouri said they're going to play both guys, so they're doing the twofer in week one.
But Missouri's not top 25, are they? I don't think
Maybe
they
not.
are.
Maybe not. I don't know preseason.
I don't
Probably
know
not.
if Missouri-
ESPN's reporting Calzada has been named the starting quarterback
At
for
Kentucky. Okay, the A&M transfer.
Calzada.
Calzada is the right. Yeah, Calzada.
I want a calzone now.
You want a calzone?
I'm hungry.
Give me that calzone. But I am very excited to see how Oregon State looks on Saturday night, man. Like, you're getting a freshman quarterback at home in front of what should be a pretty charged up crowd, a decent amount of energy going into that game. Like, that should be a tough environment for him to go play in.
It
Malik
should
Murphy
be.
should upgrade your offense to a certain level. The Clemens injury is still brutal. I think they haven't said anything, but I'm just expecting he's out for the year now at this point if you're in a boot. But
I think Walker's going to be a beast this year.
I do too.
He
I don't
was good
think
last year.
I don't think it'll make or break necessarily your season. I'm really excited for our guy Ryan Gunderson too, because that's
Me too.
like, as an offensive coordinator, to take over a job where you don't have somebody that can throw the football, that's really hard to call plays.
Well, I know,
And
that's
that's like
the difficult part.
that was the world he had to live in last year. And then, but when the offense is so bad and you're getting shut out, like the frustration eventually trickles up to the coaches of like, why aren't you doing this? Why?
Right.
It's like, I don't think there's anything they could have done last season. Maybe been a little more creative. Maybe ran some wildcat. I don't know, but having a functional quarterback this year is going to make his life, much easier. And just what does that do for Oregon State overall? Like having a semi-decent passing attack, whether Malik Murphy exceeds expectations or just plays the exact way that he did last year, it'll be an upgrade from what you had last season. So I'm excited to see how that all comes together Saturday night.
I just, for a fan base that has been kind of left in a gutter in a lot of ways, the program has been left to defend itself and try to figure it out, its future.
Yeah, they got a chance on national television Saturday night to beat up on a former conference team.
A year later, and you've rallied to the point where you're paying 7+ figures for a starting quarterback from an ACC team that I think won 9 games last year, if I'm not mistaken, Duke?
I think Duke went 9-3 last year.
9-3, I want to say it was, and
that
Diaz
sounds right.
almost beat Miami. They could have possibly been.
They had a chance to, man.
If I'm not incorrect, they're a 10-win team.
Yeah.
You got a running back that's returning with experience. You got a local kid who went under the radar, and he became a real story.
9-3 on the year, lost their bowl game 9-4.
And should have beaten Miami. Go back and look at that
Should have beat
game. That
Miami.
was really close. They had some crucial turnovers in that one. I don't think Murphy was very good, but this is the start of a season. There's nothing else Oregon State fan could have asked for than to say, okay, we've kind of breathed our sigh of relief. They're coming in with a true freshman, a lot of uncertainty, a lot of new players because Cal lost guys to the portal.
Yeah.
7:30 ESPN game. This is what you are known for, being on ESPN and beating teams. And
Yep.
come on,
Crank
man.
that chainsaw.
Yes.
I think there's
There you
also,
go.
too, like if I were a Beaver fan, a lot of it, my energy this weekend would be they have something that they don't deserve.
100%.
They took something from us that belonged to us because we've been a better program for them for the last 15 years. You got to also watch Stanford on Saturday night, as we
Lose
talked
to
about.
Hawaii.
Lose to Stanford program. Stanford football's dead. It's been dead for nearly a decade now. It feels like nobody cared about them even when they were good, and now even more so now that they're bad. Nobody goes to their games. Stanford might win 2 games this year.
Yeah.
If Cal loses with a true freshman quarterback on the road at Oregon State, that might be a 4-8 kind of season loading, and you have the chance to laugh in their face, in the ACC's face at least, and say, that's what you wanted? I hope that Bay Area TV market's working out for you.